What's up YouTube, this is Jake from JP Trading Cards here, and today I'm bringing you guys my Raidraptor deck profile. So the Raidraptors are used by Shay, Obsedian, and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 series. Personally, this was my favorite archetype in the series, and that's why I'm building the deck. This is a budget deck profile, which means that sometimes, or normally you would have 3 copies of a card. But in my case, due to budget reasons, I only have either 1 or 2 of the cards, hence the budget deck profile. So this deck focuses on Xyz summoning and specifically using the rank up spell cards to Xyz summon. So I want to ask you guys to please like the video, please comment, and please subscribe to the channel for more deck profiles, more budget deck profiles, pack openings, both Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, for the monsters, you're going to run 3 Raidraptor Vanishing Lanius. So when this card is summoned, normal or special, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower Raidraptor from your hand. Next, 3 Fuzzy Lanius. So if you control a Raidraptor other than Fuzzy Lanius, you can special summon this from your hand. These 2 are kind of mandatory. You need to run 3 of them for a Raidraptor deck. Next, 3 Rudder Strix. So if it's normal summon or special summon from the hand by an effect of a Raidraptor, you can inflict 600 damage to your opponent. And then also, if this card is going to be attacked, you can special summon 2 Raidraptors from your hand. Now to the monsters I run 2 of. 2 Mimicry. So basically, if this card is normal special summon, you can increase all levels by 1. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard this turn, you can banish it and add 1 Raidraptor from your deck to your hand. 2 of Necrovulture. So Necrovulture is once per turn, tribute 1 Raidraptor monster, then target 1 rank up magic, which will go over in the spells, and then add it to your hand. So now for the cards that you run 1 of. 1 Tribute Lanius. Personally, I want to run 3 of them, but I only have 1, and I don't want to proxy them just for the video, because the deck makes do with 1. So basically, this card is normal or special summon from this turn. You can add 1 Raidraptor card from your deck, or to the send 1 Raidraptor card from the deck to the graveyard. So you can use this effect to combo with Mimicry's effect. And then, if this card is destroyed by battle this turn, you can add 1 rank up magic spell from your deck to your hand. Next, 1 Napalm. So once per turn, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. And then, if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, add or special summon 1 Raidraptor from your deck. Next, 1 Singing. So if you control an Xyz, you special summon this from your hand. 1 Booster. So when a Raidraptor monster is targeted for attack, you can banish this card from your hand and destroy the attacking monster. 1 Avenge Vulture. So if you take damage, special summon this from your hand. And finally, 1 Pain Lanius. So Pain Lanius is that if this card's in your hand, target 1 Raidraptor on the field, and then you take damage to whichever his attack or defense is lower, and then you special summon Pain from your hand, and then it gains or it becomes the level of the monster that you took damage to. So that's great to use that for a Link 4, or excuse me, not Link, Xyz 4. So that's it for the monsters. Let's go on to the spells. Alright, first off, we're going to run 2 Raidraptor Call. So target 1 Raidraptor monster you control, special summon 1 with the same name and defense from your hand or deck. And then the last non-rank up card we're going to use is Raidraptor Nest. So if you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add 1 Raidraptor from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So now let's go on to the rank up magic cards. So this is really cool, and a lot of these are unique to only Raidraptors. So first, you're going to run 2 of the rank up magic Skip Force. So you target 1 Raidraptor Xyz you control, and then you special summon 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster from the extra deck, that is 2 ranks higher, 2 ranks higher than the one you control. So in this card, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish it, and then banish and one Raidraptor monster from your graveyard, then target 1 Raidraptor XCs from your graveyard and special summon it. So the next were 2 rank up magic Astral Force. So generally the same effect, the same first effect as Skip Force. You can exceed by 2 ranks higher. So that's awesome. And then during your draw phase, if this card's in the graveyard and you don't want to draw another card, you can add this card to your hand instead of drawing from the graveyard. Next, I run 2 rank up magic Raptor's Force. So if a Raidraptor Xyz monster was destroyed and sent to the graveyard this turn, target 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then special summon from your extra deck 1 Raidraptor monster that is 1 rank higher. Next, 2 of rank up magic Raid Force. So target 1 face up Xyz monster you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 Raidraptor monster that is 1 rank higher from the target, and then you can banish this card from the graveyard and 1 Raidraptor card from your hand. Then target 1 rank up magic spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So pretty awesome. Next, and the last of the 2s, 1 rank up magic Revolution Force. So that has 2 effects, 1 during your turn, 1 during your opponent's. So during your turn, you can target 1 Raidraptor Xyz you control, special summon from your extra deck a Raidraptor that's 1 rank higher. And then during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 Xyz monster your opponent controls that has no Xyz material and take control of it and use that as Xyz material to summon a Raidraptor monster that is 1 rank higher than the card that you stole from your opponent. So that's great, especially if they have a high ranking Xyz monster with no material on it. Just steal that bad boy. Next, now to the 1-ofs. 1 rank up magic Doom Double Force. So target 1 Raidraptor Xyz in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle and sent to this turn. Special summon it. So you special summon it back. Then special summon from your extra deck 1 Xyz that has twice the rank. So this is awesome. I probably would want to run a couple more, 1 or 2 more of those. But again, I don't have them. So we're making do with what I have. Next, and the last rank up spell and last spell in general, pay half your Soul Shave Force. So you pay half your life points, then target 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then special summon 1 Xyz monster that is 2 ranks higher from that monster. Now, going back to Doom Double Force. This card, you can play this card as, 1 to 3, obviously. But personally, and having only a budget, I'm only playing 1 of them just because there has to be 1 that is destroyed this turn. So the effect kind of is a little bit limiting just to the fact that it has to be destroyed and sent there this turn. But the upside is very good. But again, budget deck, I only run 1 of them. So, you guys pick and choose how many of each of these rank up magic you want to run. So now that's it with the spells. Alright guys, for the traps, I run 5 total. To start it off, I run 2 Raidraptor Readiness. So this turn, Raidraptor monsters can't be destroyed by battle. And then if you have, this is the second effect, if you have a Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, you can banish Readiness from the grave and you take no battle damage this turn, which is awesome. Next, Raptor's Gust. When a spell or trap is activated and you control a Raidraptor, negate the activation and destroy the card. Pretty awesome. Next, Raidraptor Replica. Target 1 Raidraptor monster you control, special summon 1 with the same name. And finally, Icarus Attack by tributing 1 Winged Beast. on the field, you can destroy two cards on the field. And since all of these are winged beasts, there is no problem finding one to tribute. So that's it with the spell cards. And now, finally, the extra. Alright guys, this being a Xyz heavy deck, I do run one Link monster, that being Decode, just to take advantage of his arrows and try and get two Xyz on the board. But that's really about it. This deck is a, like I said, very Xyz heavy deck. So let's start it off with two Rise Falcons. So, Rise Falcon, its effect is pretty cool. Basically, it can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls, excuse me. And once per turn, you can detach one material from it, and this card gains attack equal to your opponent's monster. So, it's always going to be 100 points higher, which is awesome. Shay, this was his go-to monster that he would always start off with. Next, we're gonna run one Force Strix. This card gains 500 attack for each winged beast monster you control other than this card. Once per turn, detach one material and add one level 4 dark winged beast from your deck to your hand. So it's a great way to, I used to search out either Fuzzy or Vanishing. Next, one Blade Burner. So if this card is Xyz summon and your opponent's life points are at least 3,000 higher than yours, you can make this card gain 3,000 attack, which is awesome. And then when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can detach any number of Xyz materials from this card and destroy exactly that number of monsters your opponent controls. So that's awesome. Hopefully you'd be able to wipe out a whole board with that. Well, that's it for the rank 4s. Next, we got one rank 5 being Blaze Burner Falcon. Or, excuse me, not Blaze Burner, just Blaze Falcon. This card can attack directly while it has Xyz material. Well, that's awesome, which is awesome. And when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. Then once per turn, detach one material from it, and it can destroy as many special summoned monsters your opponent controls. And if you do, inflict 500 for each of them. Next, that was the only rank 5 I run. For the rank 6, 2 Revolution Falcon. Revolution Falcon is that you can detach one material from it, and that it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once. And then at the start of the damage step, if this card battles your opponent's monster, an opponent's face-up special summon a monster, that monster's attack and defense becomes 0, which is awesome. And then if there is a Raidraptor Xyz monster as Xyz material, so if you rank up with an Xyz to summon Revolution, once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage equal to half that monster's attack points. Awesome. Next, I run one of Satellite Cannon Falcon. Satellite Cannon Falcon is that if this card is Xyz summoned by using a Raidraptor monster as material, which it will be because that's all we have, you can destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls. So this is great for wiping out a back row. And then your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect activation, which is awesome, so they can't counter that. And then a quick effect is that detach one material and then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 800 attack for each Raidraptor in your graveyard. So that's awesome, because usually by the time you get out to rank 8, a lot of my monsters would have been gone through Xyz summoning, getting destroyed, whatnot. So hopefully it will lose a ton of attack. Next, and my second to last, Raidraptor Ultimate Falcon, rank 10. So this card is unaffected by all other card effects, which is amazing. You can detach one material from this card for the rest of the turn. All monsters your opponent control will lose 1,000 attack. And this, I mean, he's a 3,500 attacker, so I mean he can get over almost everything. And then also your opponent cards and effects cannot be activated if this card has a Raidraptor Exceeds, which again it will, unless it's summoned from the graveyard. But if not, it will have an Raidraptor Exceeds. Once per turn during the end phase, you can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. If your opponent controls no face-up monsters, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Awesome. Next, and well, not next, but finally, the last Raidraptor Exceeds, rank 12, Final Fortress Falcon. So, if this card has Raidraptor Exceeds monsters as Exceeds material, it's unaffected by other card effects. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, return all your banished Raidraptor monsters to your graveyard. Up to twice per turn when this card is, up to twice per turn when this attacking card destroys a monster by battle, you can banish one Raidraptor Exceeds from your graveyard and it can attack again. So you can do this up to twice, which is insane. So, that is it, guys. That is my Raidraptor budget deck profile. If you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please like, please comment, please share, and please subscribe to the channel for more videos. Jake is out.